Hey guys, welcome to this week's show. With me as always is Corey. I say always, but he wasn't really here last week. But
Yeah, nice to be back.
yeah, while we're talking about last week's show quickly, I want to give a shout out to all the new fans Hippie you drove in. A couple people started following us because he couldn't stop bragging about how he was on our show while we were playing NHL the other night.
On the show, it was a little loose there. I mean, couldn't even show his face.
Oh,
A real man? Would a real man not show his face? I don't know.
Fame. He has all these people he's bringing to the show. He brought a whole 3 more followers. What a guy.
Oh, doubled them.
But no, shout out to our new viewers. I hope you enjoy our ripping each other apart. But we don't have a lot to go over tonight. Unfortunately, Kyle was not able to make it onto the show tonight. So I think he said he'd be able to make it next week. And we'll go over these analytics that he has to review with us. I'm curious at all these stats that he analyzed and the results, right? Maybe you can have a better explanation, probably easier on the show than in a little chat.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
So unfortunately, he won't be on the show tonight, but we still have a little bit to go over. We have last week's results. We'll take a look at the updated standings, and we'll look at the preview for this week. We will not, however, touch base on prediction results. We just live busy lives, so don't worry. We're still tallying it all. We're still keeping track of it all. But it's kind of better that's a little mystery from week to week. We'll give you an update maybe next week. I hope next week. We'll see what happens.
I'll commit to next week.
Probably a short show, guys, but we hope you enjoy. Let's talk about last week here. First matchup, and this was a criticism I got from Hippie. He says that I have it easy. I just lead people in to talk about what they think. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to lead this one in here. Team Ramrod taking it to Saucier Pass here, 14-0. I thought it was maybe not as one-sided as it looks in the score, but I thought it was a pretty easy week for Team Ramrod. I got a little criticism when I came into work yesterday from Travis saying that you couldn't get the game-winning goal at a game Sunday to get the 15-0. No, I couldn't. I'm sorry. I'll take the 14-0 win though. But my boys were just on fire last week, all around. So I think that's what happened. What do you think, Corey?
Hey, your goalies played really well. I think he had 6 goalie wins, 300 saves, and they played well in all the games. You just destroyed me. I don't think I would have got swept 14-0 by all the teams in the league. That's for sure. I didn't have a terrible. It was pretty bad, but not the worst.
My boys just showed up. So
I got nothing. I'll blame the COVID games, all the postponed games. They fucking threw me.
It's possible. Because of the COVID games, right? Because of the Olympics, we met earlier than we should have. So
I guess
2 weeks earlier.
Right? It gotta be technical.
Yeah. So these games shouldn't have been yours, but you took it.
No, I took it.
Next matchup here. I was surprised the result of this one. We had a playoff push and Pacioretty playing to a tie. This was back and forth all week. I was surprised that it ended up a tie. What do you think?
Yeah, when I looked into it, it could have went either way. It was really close on Sunday. There's a lot of categories, a few for each of them that they were close on. So I think that's a big point for Nick, though. We'll say that because Derek definitely has a good team. So
big point for Derek though in that playoff hunt, right?
Keeping
it alive a bit.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm saying if Nick got the loss, though, that's a big 2 points to lose there, right? To a team chasing who has a good team, just hasn't really been the most active. Yeah.
No, fair. Cherry picking daddy. Taking advantage of the Braden bye week here with a 9-5 victory. What can you tell me about this one?
It's easier to accept a loss when the guy who's right at the bottom of the standings with you is losing too. So, thank you, Kyle.
Battle for that Caucasaurus.
Exactly, the Braden bye week. It lives on.
It's rare that it doesn't, but it happens. No, I think meaningless win for Kyle, but big loss for Braden. Keeps that last place chase kind of
alive.
interesting, right? So the whole shaft here took on Try the Beef, and he defeated him 8-5 here. What happened?
This is a big win for Nick. He's been slowly sliding a little bit further down in the standings in Division 2, so it's a big 2 points to get. And just the 11, like they were tied going into that week, so no, it's a good win for Nick.
Do have it on good authority that Daltrey's been slipping a bit and hasn't necessarily been set in his lineup all the time. So
Daltrey, I know he's pretty overrated. I've heard that. So
I heard that today, but I guess he missed some games last week. It happened a couple of weeks ago against Travis where he had Larkin on the bench when Larkin was kind of lighting it up a bit. But I guess Nick was kind of saying, yeah, I didn't say anything because, a win's a win, but he didn't really set his lineup. So Daltrey gonna have to be watching out for you, that inactivity here. Speaking of inactivity, Captain Crunch here, defeating Please Don't Feed the Goalie 7-3. Why don't you tell me about this one?
Yeah, his goalies came out big, and Tyler's team didn't do a whole lot offensively to take it over. No, good win for Captain Crunch.
Yeah, not much to say on that. I expected this. I think everyone expected this at this point. I don't understand Domo's team, but he wins. But he's also against a guy who he has as many wins as Domo has losses.
Well, your criticism to Crunch is the maneuver of players, right? So now the trade deadline's done.
Yeah, but that's not a real challenge. You're playing a guy who, I don't know, maybe answered 3 messages all year. Very absent GM. So we'll see. I think this week he has a bigger challenge, so we'll see what happens.
That's
sucked by Ojek, defeating Get Off My Grass 10-3. Big matchup here. Both playoff teams. We think about this one.
I mean, you can say that for now. Dan keeps sliding, and it's pretty close over there. I don't know if they'll be in the playoffs for long. Big win for Neil. Just I think it was an easy one. I predicted this one, so you can see.
I kind of agree. Neil's been kind of iffy lately. This is a win that just like solidifies him, like, stops his slide essentially down the standings and kind of asserts himself back near the top of the second or first division. Sorry, he's not good enough for the second division. That's gonna be like our biggest running joke now. That next year we have no divisions anymore. So.
Oh yeah.
But no, Dan's team. He's been selling most of the year, and somehow he's still in a playoff spot. But I think you're right. He's on that slide now, and there's just teams who've gotten better who are just going to climb and probably overtake him. So never-ending rebuild. Goes up against Clefbaum, comes out with a 8-4 win. Believes his playoff hopes are still alive. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good win. Can call another loss, keep him at the bottom of the standings. But
just where you want him.
But that's a must-win for Travis to keep going here. So that's good for him. Good win, Travis.
I don't think he's counting on making the playoffs. I think he's like, if I can win a couple, like he has a chance, an outside chance. He has a matchup against 7. He has a matchup against Mark and against Patch. So like
the 2 teams right there.
He said his hardest challenge left is this week, and he's against Ramrod. After that, he said he has a bunch of teams who are kind of on the cusp of playoffs or out of the playoffs. So he could make a run.
There's still a lot of weeks left, right? 6 weeks.
After this week, there's 4.
4, so 5 weeks
after this week. Yeah. So that's still a lot of points, right? That's a 10 points if you win out.
Exactly.
So, a lot can happen. Oh, big matchup last week here. I thought this was the big matchup of the week. Well, I guess maybe Patch and Derek was pretty big, but 7 defeating Charlie Browns here, 9-3. Big win for Mark after talking some shit on the show last week. What do you think?
No, it was a close matchup, 9-3, but it could have a few categories could have went the other way easily. It would be closer, but no, it's a big win for Mark. Another loss for Sean.
I think this is the worst regular
human.
season he's ever had.
I know. I was gonna say he's human this year.
He's human. No, and it's weird because his players are still performing, except for his goalies. Goalies are hurting a bit.
Yeah, Binnington not having the greatest spot there right now, right? So
even Hellebuck, the Jets have been
I know.
good, then trash, and keep being trash. Maybe a little good here, but
I looked at Comrie on the waiver to see kind of how many starts he's been getting, and he's still getting nothing, even though Hellebuck's not playing well.
I don't really think it's Hellebuck though. I think just the team is just
they haven't pick up yet. That's all.
They need to retool. I think I don't know. They just band-aid fixes since losing all their defense for a couple of years, and it's just catching up to them now, right? So
yeah.
I'm not saying a rebuild because I think they still have a lot of great pieces, but get rid of a couple of the older guys and just kind of bring in some mid-age.
Let the system come in.
Yeah. Let's talk about the standings here. You want to review Division 1?
Division 1. Captain Crunch leading the league, 26 points. Neil's right on his tail with the win, though. And a big win there with Dan at 21 points, right behind. Nick creeping right up there. An 8th spot, but only 1 point behind Dan now. Cherry Picking Daddy with a win to keep him in contention. Like, there's a chance. I know he sold, but
yeah.
And then dog pile at the bottom here of Clef Bomb, Tyler and Hockey Balboa, 11, 11, and 10 points. 3 of the bottom 4, right at the bottom.
There are 4 teams fighting for that Caucasaurus, right? 1 point separates last place from 13th.
Division 1's winning 1 trophy this year.
We're talking about the playoff race. What about the Caucasaurus race here? That's almost just as intense. That's going to come down to the last day.
It's even tighter. We just keep losing. No one's winning.
That's what happens. So you guys play each other. Those are the big weeks. Do you have any matchups against these guys?
I think it's all Division 1 or Division 2. Sorry, Division 2.
Yeah, and when you're at the bottom of the division,
rough street. Yeah.
We'll talk about Division 2 here. Leading the way, Le Champion, Team Ramrod. Sitting at 25 points here for second in the league. Apparently, I'm underperforming. I'm curious to hear more about that. But I agree. My team has been underperforming all year. I expect more from them. The whole shaft here took up a big win last week. Put them at 22 points here in 4th place. Right behind him, tied technically, I guess, is Sean, 22 points, right? Daltrey, big loss for him last week. Sees him sit at 7th with 20 points here, tied essentially for 7th with Patch, right? 7, Mark keeping up, 1 point out. It could be an interesting year. If things fall the right way, we could have 2 first-year GMs in the playoffs.
But wouldn't be surprised if they're not.
That would be surprised.
Except for Hippie does have a nice little cushion over the other teams trailing him. So if Dan falls, that means Hippie's or Mark's in. Sorry.
Yeah, it's more likely that scenario that he gets in, right? If anyone does. So,
and he was buying too, right? So that's good.
Yeah, Travis, not too far behind here at 16 points. So realistically, he's only 4 points out of a playoff spot. Like I said, he has matchups against Hippie and Patches left in the season. So Derek's in at 15 there with his playoff push, 5 points out. Not a terrible spot. And then we have the bottom, the shame of Division 2.
I'm the reason you guys have good records, okay?
I don't know about that. But it's nice having an easy win in our division, I must say. The other division has 3, and they're all sitting here with pretty records. We have a shit show. Everyone's fighting for playoff spots except for one. So
Yeah, that's all right.
So speaking of that, let's go to big week matchups this week. I think there's a few big ones, probably at least 2, probably more than last week at least. First matchup here. Let's see what you got here. Le Champion Team Ramrod, taking on the never-ending rebuild. What do you think?
Sorry, Travis, taking a loss this week, and nothing you can do about it. At least it won't be 14-0. Let's say that.
Now, I'm in agreement with you. Team Ramrod should get the victory. I had a man game advantage too, which I rarely have. And it's like significant. I think it was like 8 or 9 games. So it's rare that I have a man game advantage. I'll take it. My team's underperforming. They need to do better. I expect, 14-0 win. What is that? That's shame. Travis is a little tougher opponent, so I expect him to get some points. But I'm still expecting Team Ramrod to come out. Big matchup for Derek. If he can't beat Clefbaum this week, he doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs. But yeah, big playoff push here. Sitting in 12th currently, 5 points out. Taking on the guy who's trailing him here, who's pretty much out of it. Clefbaum, what do you got?
This is going to be a tight one. I know Calgary's off to a good start this week, so it's favorable for Clefbaum. But I think Derek has the better team. I'm going to go with Derek. I'm a believer of the playoff push. It'd be fun to see.
Now, I don't necessarily think that he's going to make the playoffs, but I think this should be a win for him. If anything, Kyle has to pray Markstrom carries him through the week. But other than that, although, Eichel has been pretty good since he came back. He's got some good pieces. Toronto's going to score 10 goals in the game again.
Marner's been killing it.
Yeah.
Player of the month, not rookie of the month, Neil. Not fucking rookie of the month. Player of the month.
I think that's the bigger accomplishment.
I'd say so.
Maybe.
You don't see him showboat.
I do think it's going to be Derek's week in the long run, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle, his players have been hot. If Kyle comes out with the win, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, I love this matchup every time it happens because it usually goes one way. We got Cherry Pickin' Daddy taking on the Charlie Browns here. Cherry Pickin' Daddy pretty much out of it. Long shot to make the playoffs. He's aware he's sold. Taking on a struggling Charlie Browns here. Well, who you got?
Well, I think Sean won last week just so there was a streak to break.
No, just he lost last week.
No, did he? No.
He lost to 7.
Oh yeah. I was thinking of Nick. All right, well, there's no streak to break. That changes things. I'm gonna go with Sean on this one now.
Sean should be the favorite. Should be, but I don't know what it is about Kyle's team. Like when they play Sean, like magic happens.
It's close, but he always gets the win.
I don't understand, but he does it. So I'm gonna have faith. I'm gonna have faith that he continues his dominance of the Charlie Browns, and I'm just gonna go based on history and not based on the fact that he's not a playoff team. I'm gonna go with you, Kyle. Oh, here's a good matchup. Daltrey, who's on the slide. He needs these points. He's taking on Saucier Pass here, who's fighting to get out of cock territory. What do you got here?
I'm going to go with the Saucier Pass. No, it's an easy choice.
Easy choice.
I can't even defend myself. Like, who you go for?
I'm gonna go with Daltrey. I just think his team's better. It's hard hard to say like the last place team. That's who I'm gonna pick. Like, has to be a pretty fucking good matchup for that to happen. We were talking about Domo maybe having a bigger challenge here. Now that he's stopped selling all his players. So far, he's had Tyler. And now he has the Braden bye week. Who do you have here?
You got to go with Big Daltrey, right?
No, do you?
Do you? Or do you go for the upset? No, I want Braden to lose too. So I'm going for Big Daltrey.
Yeah, I just think it's going to happen. I think he's going to beat Braden. His team's just better than Braden's.
Mrazek's getting starts over Campbell too right now.
Yeah.
So,
well, I just think it's hard to go against the Braden bye week. Like,
not to go against the guy who's top in the league. To go
no,
against
I find that easy to go against because if he was playing any of the other top teams, I think he would lose. So I just think his team has gotten worse. But I mean, he's playing some easy opponents. I think he's going to breeze into the play. Yeah, he has some couple tough matchups coming up though. I know for sure he's playing Ramrod, and I believe Suck My Ojek is who he finishes the season against. So
that's a tight race now. There's not much room for him.
like he's not going to slip out, but
no, for you for first. I mean,
a tough
1
battle
point,
right for first.
Yeah.
Get off my grass versus please don't feed the goalie. Woo! Who do you have here?
I'm gonna go with Dan. I know his team isn't the strongest because he's selling off, but he's active and he's always looking for the games played, and that goes a long way in this league. So I'm gonna go with him.
So you're saying the guy who's active versus the guy who's pretty much vanished has the advantage?
I would think so.
I agree. I think in the end he's gonna take it. It's just about being active, knowing, being aware of what's going on. You know, Tyler's made no adjustments all year, so I don't expect him to start now, unless he wants that golden
playoff and there's no trade deadline, like trade deadlines passed.
How bad though is your team that you're in last place right now? This guy hasn't showed up all year.
I have a lot of picks.
Yeah, you at least go in with some picks. This guy has I guess how bad is his team where he has all these players that he drafted and whatnot, and he's still fighting for last place.
Yep. Yeah, like I've had a lot of good players on my team this year. I just couldn't get the wins and I had to make a choice, right? So
yeah. It's tough sometimes. You gotta make a decision. You're like, is this worth holding on to? What's the risk reward of this? You know, it's a tough game, and I love it. This is one of the two matchups I think is going to be really good this week. We got Neil here taking on Patch ready to rumble. I know on paper Neil seems like the sure thing, but Patch has been strong. He's fighting to hold on that playoff spot. It could be a really good week. What do you think?
Yeah, my underdog to win the whole thing would be Nick. And I know Neil's team has been doing well, but I'm going to go with Nick on this one. I like how his team's looking.
I like Nick's team. His goalies are a little on and off, but I don't think he's going to beat Neil this week. I think it's going to hurt him because that's going to leave the door open, I think, for maybe Mark to get some points here. Maybe. Let's talk about that matchup, which I think is the next big matchup of the week. You have the whole shaft here, who's only, I want to say 3 points or maybe 5 points.
3 points. 3 points ahead of Mark.
Nick, yeah. So 7, big week for Mark. What do you think's gonna happen here?
I'm gonna go with Nick on this one. His team is I like how his forwards look. I think that he's going to take that category definitely, and then you can't go Vasilevsky too, right? So I think it's an easy win for Nick.
I'm going to agree. One, because Nick has a good team, but 2, Florida only has 2 games this week, and that really cripples Mark.
Yeah, 2 keepers, right?
Yeah, like his big offensive weapons aren't really playing this week, so he's at a disadvantage.
Though. Yeah. That's good though.
Yeah, but his two offensive weapons are gone. On the bright side, though, Mark, Patches is probably going to lose too. So you're not going to lose too much ground. All you have to really worry about, I think, in my opinion, is people from under you coming up closer.
Yeah. It's going to be
So,
interesting.
interesting week. Exciting. There's only 4 weeks left after this. I'm not looking forward to my schedule. I have Neil, Domo, Sean, Nick. Like that's how I finish my year. So I'm gonna get rid of these jobbers here and move on to the tough competition. Good news is though my team underperforms, so hopefully they're up to par by the time I play around against these guys here. Would you have high hopes here for the end of the season here? Fight out of the bottom?
Yeah. I have a rough. I think it's like Nick, Sean, Travis, 3 of the 4. I can't remember now, but I want to see if you can go on a 3-game losing streak again this year to end the season.
No, I'm not. I don't plan on doing that. It's not happening. Not this year. Just taking a look at your schedule here, buddy. See what you got here. See how you can get out of the end, out of the bottom. You got Charlie Brown's next week.
Yeah, Daltrey, Charlie Browns.
Never ending rebuild.
Oh, Travis, yeah.
So that might be some points there.
It's not going to be easy.
No, definitely not. Patches, you might be taking this trophy home. Who do you finish the year with? Clef Bomb. So that might save you. That might be a battle for the trophy.
Yeah, that would.
Or this matchup, either Balboa versus Please Don't Feed the Goalie in the final week.
Oh wow, that's pretty funny.
Some interesting scenarios here for the Caucasaurus. I think that's gonna be the more intense race here, at least for me, because I'm already locked in the playoffs. I think so. I'm not too worried. I'm gonna be more entertained by the bottom race.
Oh.
Any closing words here, Corey?
No, it's the phone's a little dry now. With trade deadline passed, it's quiet in the league.
Yeah, today went off a bit. It was nice. I have a good laugh when I check the chat all the time, right? You know,
Oh, yeah.
Good group of guys having good laughs together. But
No, yeah, it's good. No, it's been a good year. I can't wait for next season, and the season can end any time now.
yeah, you're not anxious to get your cough. Right?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I too am looking forward to next year when I go to defend my back-to-back championships.
Yeah, okay.
I just need my team to perform up to the level that they're expected.
You'd be first right now if they're performing properly.
It's true. I'm interested. I'm interested to see how he calculated it all because my team wasn't the same back at the start of the season. Like, you know?
No, yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I'm underperforming if you're looking at my goals and stuff based on my current roster. But the roster I started with, it's not the same. Like,
we'll have to see.
I'm curious.
Lynn 2.0 coming in.
Human Lynn here. Human Lynn. Oh, it's interesting. It's gonna be a good week, I think. Good end to the season. I'm hoping. I'm hoping for some last day drama again. I think there's nothing more intense than that Sunday last week of the season. You don't know what's gonna look like. Those chaos last year. I'm hoping to see that again this year.
It was nuts. It'll be good.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck this week, guys. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. See you later, Daltrey. Going down, buddy.
I heard his team is shit.